He is prepared. He wants me to talk. I told you that I was going to say something about your glasses.
Yeah, well, basically I feel like I'm a professor now.
You look great. You look great. I like the glasses.
Thank you.
You did the intro and you were waiting for me to say something about your glasses.
Yeah, if you promised something, you have to say
Deliver.
it.
Good. Very nice.
Anyway, today we're going to talk about the subway system anywhere in the world, basically in China and cities like Beijing and Shanghai. Because recently I just read a piece of news. It's about the local government has issued a new regulation which allows the newsstands being put in the subway stations again in Beijing, because that was kind of a controversial issue, because months ago it was virtually banned. No newspapers at all.
Yeah, you know, I remember seeing quite a few kiosks and newspaper stands in the subways, and then they disappeared, and I'm glad to hear they're coming back again.
Yeah, they are coming back.
I think there might be a slight difference, and it depends on the cities also. The rule was for the whole China before, or just for Beijing?
Just for Beijing.
Just for Beijing, because it's different.
Decision, yeah.
I think in Shanghai, when you go in the Shanghai subway stations, you're going to notice that there are a lot of different stores. Whereas in Beijing, it used to be people who had a little stand by themselves selling newspapers. So I don't know the exact reason. Was it because there were too many people and they were...
It's out of security reasons.
I was going to say, probably security.
But what I'm thinking is, I mean, the reason behind it, why it's such a big issue among the public, is because we use subways so much every day. We go to work, we go to see our friends, and every day, every minute, it seems we're using subway system. Let me give you some facts, how important or how developed the subway systems are in China, in Beijing, in Shanghai. Because Shanghai has 424 kilometers of railways, subway railways. It's 11 lines and carrying nearly 5 million people every day. And it's second longest in the world.
Woo.
Beijing has about 300 kilometers, is going to reach 560 kilometers by 2015. And so far there are 10 cities in China which have 31 lines of subway system, and the total kilometer range it's 835 kilometers. Well, it's like every city is building this subway system. So why all of a sudden it's like a subway boom?
Traffic.
Exactly.
Traffic is a huge part of that. You know, Beijing is what, over 16 million people? And I mean, if you built a subway that could facilitate or move 16 million people, that would just be a gigantic subway. And likewise, you can't have cars that move 16 million people either, so it's finding the balance. And as it is, I mean, subways in Beijing are packed.
Indeed, they are.
They are packed, yes.
Especially in rush hours, yeah.
I mean, you can wait for 3 trains before you'll get on a train.
What happens, it's really funny, because when I was in Paris, I used to see how many people they are. And it's actually because the subway trains in Paris are usually not that wide, not that big. So, I mean, you can't have that many people in the subway. So most of the time at rush hour, same thing. You're going to have to wait for the next one, or even like wait for 2 subways.
That's why we call it rush hours.
You feel
Let's just take a look at some pictures of the subway systems in different cities. This is the one in London. It's supposed to be actually the oldest one.
The tube, yes.
Oldest in the world?
In the world.
Oh, wow.
They started their subway system in 1863.
How artistic is that? That's great.
This is Paris.
Look at that.
And Moscow.
Oh, that looks very grand.
This is like a wine cellar.
Ooh.
And Tokyo.
Tokyo subway system.
Looks like Tokyo.
Well, we'll come back to this
Women
later.
only, all right.
Yeah. New York.
New York.
This is upground, not underground.
There we go, underground.
Well, this is in Beijing.
Where is that?
A new station. It's near the Olympic Village.
Okay, that's why.
As we mentioned, the first underground station, the first underground line in the world is the one in London, and they started in 1863. Yes. They started in 1863. I just wonder why they needed a subway system in 1863.
Maybe to show off. I remember my hometown, Lille in France, had the first subway without a driver in the world.
Really?
Okay.
Yes, so it's totally automatic.
Well, that's, yeah, I mean, that's feasible these days according to the development of the technology.
It's good to be in the record
But the
book.
thing is, if you're sitting in the front, you don't really feel safe. It's
No.
you're going to hit the wall. Anyway, actually, from the subway stations from different countries, we see, the different styles in different countries. It seems that subway designs are a big issue. It has to reflect the culture, local culture, or maybe your likes or don't likes in these different places.
Especially well, not New York. New York's subway is not known for its elegance and its cleanliness.
Very great.
But it's very functional. It's
But
very
the one in
functional.
Paris I like very much.
Yeah.
No, yes, but well, of course, those pictures don't tell the whole story. But the one in Paris is pretty old too. I mean, they're getting some newer
Maybe second oldest in the world.
Yeah,
I'm not sure.
exactly. They're getting some newer trains and everything. But at the end of the day, the whole infrastructure is still the same. I mean, the whole
Tunnels.
the tunnels and everything. Those are still the same, which is pretty old, pretty stinky, honestly. Very dirty, actually. Looking for some stations. Some stations are better stations, but I mean, most of what you see is an old subway. You know?
I mean, I also want to talk about the ticket price in different subway systems, because in Beijing, because the government is encouraging
Subsidized.
people to take more subways,
Yep.
instead of driving their own cars, because it's the price is the same. It's 2 yuan renminbi for any time you spend in underground.
It's very simple, actually. Even if you buy a card, I have a card, and
Traffic
it's been
card.
lasting forever.
I know.
I put 300 RMB on it, I think, when I bought it, and it's been lasting forever.
Yeah.
And it's, I think, still 2 RMB every time you take it. Apparently, I never
Yeah,
really paid
it's
attention.
still 2.
But,
It's still 2.
But in Paris, it's very complicated. You have a different price. I think it's around 1.50, 1.5 euro for one ticket, and then you can buy them by 10. So if you buy individual tickets, you can buy them at 10. There are 2 types of prices. They're half price for usually children under 12 or students sometimes, and then there's the full price. And also we have policies to encourage natality. So if you have 3 children or more, you will have the half price discount too. Otherwise, you have also all those, or you have the weekly pass. But the weekly pass, the problem is that they're very clever. It goes from Monday to Sunday. So if you arrive in Paris for a week of tourism, you say, okay, I'm going to buy a weekly
If you
pass.
get there at say on Saturday.
If you get there on Saturday, you're going to have one pass for Saturday and Sunday, and
you
buy a new
serious?
one on Monday. Yes,
Oh.
I am serious.
Well, and as far as I remember, at least when I was in New York going to university, they had what they called a fun pass. And at the time, you could buy an unlimited pass for the day, 7 days a
Yeah,
week.
we have that too.
But I think, to my knowledge, that could start on any day of the week. It was just valid for 7 days.
Well, my guess is
Yeah,
that it's a smart way in Paris to actually push people to
It's
buy
a
more.
business, right?
Because people,
Profit
when you're
making.
outside, face the fact that when you're outside traveling, using money that you're not familiar with, you have no idea how much you spend.
You're just taking advantage of,
Me, when I
the
go back to
tourists.
France, spending euros, even if I knew euros when I was in France, I've lived with those, but I'm too used to the RMB now. When I go back to France, I have no idea how much I'm spending.
You know, I have to say, though, these various cities' tactics to get people to take the subway is quite interesting. Like in New York, it's a set price no matter where you go, but you get a free, I think it's either $2 or $2.50. I don't remember. But anyway, you get a free transfer. So if you take the subway and then you
And
need
the
to
bus.
transfer to the bus,
Okay.
if it's within half an hour of your time stamp on
You
your
don't
subway
have
card,
to pay
Oh,
extra.
same in Paris, it's
No.
actually the same tickets. For,
Well, we actually, I remember we do the same in London, but in Beijing, in Shanghai, I'm not quite sure if we have this kind of a connected ticketing system.
Right.
Well, these are actually the basic facts that we're discussing about the subways in Beijing, in Shanghai, and in the world. But when we come back, we are going to talk about when you get into the subway, how you're going to spend your time there.
哇，又有舊樓跌嘢落嚟，好牙煙啫。
唉，我間屋啲水喉啱啱先整翻咋。
頭髮都夠唔夠收下啦？
屋喎，話收就收咩？邊嚟錢整啊？
而家政府資助年滿60歲嘅業主為自住單位或者大廈公用嘅地方進行有關樓宇安全嘅工程，符合入息同埋資產限額，最高有4萬蚊資助嘅，去房協申請啦。
Come back to crossover. Now we are talking about the subway system in China and in the world. And now we're going to talk about how we get into the subway, because in Beijing, the security checks is very serious. And like in Shanghai, especially for the World Expo, and you have to go through very, very strict security check procedures.
That's right. Actually, I think it's the nicest, sort of most thorough security check I've ever been through in any subway I've taken in the world.
In Shanghai?
In Shanghai, Beijing, both.
You know, I actually, in Beijing, I was an ambassador for the security check in the subway.
Good for you.
Yeah, we did
That's good.
That's what you're
yeah, we
saying
did it
that.
with Mr. Ding. We were ambassadors for it. We actually did the promotion, and the video was on the subway. It was on line 2 and line 1 every day for a while.
Okay, so tell us about it.
No, we just did the shooting, and actually, because the thing is that, okay, I'm always late, so
You know that. Glad to hear
I'm
it.
always late, so many times I will be in a hurry, and I don't want to put my bag in that thing, you know? Even if it's not like the airport, you have sometimes even to take the shoes off or stuff.
Yeah.
It's quick, but still, sometimes I just want to go through. But every time I think, no, I'm in the video and there.
You're a spokesperson.
That's right, but I mean, that's true. It's not only you, because so many people, especially in early morning, it's in rush hours, everyone is in a hurry and they want to be in their office earlier. But the thing is, you have to go through this. So this security check policy has actually caused quite a controversy in Beijing and in Shanghai, because you're causing, you know, the result that
Traffic.
they have to wait.
People traffic.
Yeah,
That's
well,
right.
You do get a backlog of people as a result, because
But-
it's, to my knowledge, it's basically one X-ray machine per entrance to the subway.
That's true. Yeah.
So if you're talking about rush hour and all those people, here we've got a
yeah,
picture.
these are the pictures. If you see them, the security guards, it's really a serious issue.
Honestly,
And even we have dogs in there.
honestly,
Good for dogs.
I have yet to see the dogs. Some
yeah.
places,
I
sometimes,
haven't
but-
actually seen a dog myself.
Yeah,
But
so
I mean, if we consider the cases in Moscow subways,
Yeah.
and I guess more people would understand it why the government has decided to keep this even after the Olympic Games. Anyway, that's enough about the security checks. Just suppose we are now in the subway system, we are in the cabin, and what would you do to spend the time? And sometimes it's really boring. You have to be there doing nothing.
I people watch. I love
You do
people
that?
watching. I love people watching. I think
Well,
it's fascinating.
that's the way to know the world,
Just
right?
to sort of look around and see who's with you in the car.
You're acting just like a real celebrity, because the ones in Hong Kong, because they're really famous, sometimes they would take the subway in disguise, you know, just to watch the society, to feel the world.
just to see if they will recognize me.
I like people watching. I think it's
Yeah.
fun.
It's
What
fun.
would you do?
I always watch. It's not. But it's not that fun for me. It's just a second nature. I'm always watching people. Naturally, I mean, so many times do I see people come to me and say, have we met? Or just because of the way I look at them.
You're not watching, you're staring at someone.
It's usually girls more, but it's hey, it's a second nature.
Okay.
It's very natural for me to
No, that's
actually.
your first nature.
Thank you. It's my primary nature.
Good one.
It's my primary
one.
nature. I stare at people.
No girls, I mean.
No, but no, actually, I think it depends actually what mood you're in.